Me and Faith will sometimes we'll pull up from the logo and we'll be like, Caitlin Clark, and, but it'll slam off the backboard. We won't strip it.
We did that the other night at guys. We played basketball and just kept yelling Caitlin every time we shot.
Caitlin. It doesn't. Kobe. No, Kobe will never fade away.
Yeah. Well, he did.
Well, he died, but
one day.
That's the helicopter that blew Kobe up.
Anywho's, what are we doing?
Taylor Swift. Oh, we're not doing Taylor Swift. We are talking about Taylor Swift.
All right, Blake.
I hate that.
Do the intro for us.
All right. I literally am trying to think of a Taylor Swift song now.
Romeo,
22.
it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
That's our intro.
That is our intro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dangerous Faith podcast. And I have the team here with me, Zeke, Chloe, Blake, Justin, and Mariah. We're here to talk about Taylor Swift. Should Christians listen to Taylor Swift? Yes, no, some nuanced middle answer. We're going to dive in. Removing spirituality, faith, Christianity from the picture for a moment, I'm going to ask y'all your thoughts on her talent, her music, the genre she's in, thoughts there, and then we'll get into the faith part. But just pass it around, starting with Zeke. Thoughts on her talent level as a singer, the music she makes.
I mean, I've never really heard her live, but I mean, her songs are catchy, I guess. So
Zeke says
I used
catchy.
to listen. I actually did used to listen to her in high school and stuff like that. Stuff that was coming out then. I really haven't really. Wow,
That was really good.
What a word.
He really hasn't really listened.
I haven't
you
listened to
remember
her in
more
a while,
maybe
really.
the country days when she was sounding more country.
I mean, even a little bit of when she started
Going to pop.
going to pop. So, I mean, kind of early pop days. But probably it's been almost 7-8 years since I've really listened to her.
All right, Chloe, thoughts on just her talent level and music?
I think she is a very talented and hardworking woman. I mean, obviously, to get to where she is right now, it took a lot of hard work on her part. So it's pretty obvious that she is very talented and well-liked among most people.
Now, again, removing spirituality from it.
Yeah.
If she, does she produce music that you would otherwise like to listen to?
I don't really listen to pop.
So you're not a pop person.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe some of it I would like, but if I listen to pop, I think I probably would if we took spirituality out of it completely. Yeah.
Okay. Blake, thoughts on just her talent and her music?
She's actually really talented. I've listened to some of her live stuff, and it's really good. She sounds almost exactly like the recording, which I love. I love people who can sound just like the recordings. As far as her songs, I liked her in her country days. Our Song is just a classic. Everybody knows that song. And even
I don't know that. Can you sing that song for
Our
us?
song, slam a screen door.
Copyright infringement. No. Okay. All right.
But no, she's really good. I like listening to her. Some of her, even some of her new stuff. I'm trying to find it. The one that was it was I forget
The
which
Lover
album. It was. The Lover album. Yeah, the Lover album's really good. Me and my girlfriend listen to that one a lot. We like it, and I wouldn't say I'm a Swiftie or anything. I'm definitely not a Swiftie, but I do. I appreciate some of her music. It's catchy. So.
Okay, catchy. Justin?
Excuse me, sorry. I think her lyrics really speak to me. For example, she wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts.
I eat sneakers.
It is not I eat sneakers.
I eat sneakers.
That is shush.
I eat sneakers.
That's what it sounds like.
But she's cheer captain and
I'm eating sneakers.
Okay. Then I just really, feel those lyrics. It hits home for me. Because I too wear short skirts.
Justin is touched by the lyrics. Okay. Mariah, thoughts on, again, removing faith from it, just talent and her genre?
I'd say she's definitely the most talented female artist of our generation, but not that I like her or listen to any really of her music, but you could appreciate she knows how to market, she knows how to be the best, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is that part of it. To be famous, yes, there's talent, but also you have to market yourself well. So good point. Now that we've covered our bases there, I'm going to ask the question, and it can go wherever after this. Should Christians listen to Taylor Swift? And so for those of you who listen to the podcast who are like, hey, why is this even a topic? Some people, she came out with her most recent album. Do y'all remember the name of it?
Tortured
Poets
something.
Department.
And there were some lyrics there that people thought, oh, this is very anti-Christian. And naturally, Christians, we're unified in everything we do and say. We just started a big fight. You had some people that said, listen to her music, it's fine, who cares, it's harmless. You had other people that said, don't listen to it, she's demonic, it's satanic, don't listen to her at all. Then you had a bunch of people in the middle to some degree. So that was the controversy. So I'm going to pass it to y'all. And just the question, should Christians listen to Taylor Swift? Your thoughts, Justin?
One thing I'll start by saying is I watched a video kind of detailing this. Is originally, if you look at some of her stuff, she does kind of have, like especially in her country days, a little bit more Christian influence in some of her songs. But as she's gotten older, it seems to go from less specifically Christian to more spiritual. Like her song Karma, Karma is a god is one of the lyrics.
Karma is my boyfriend.
Yeah, Karma is Blake's boyfriend. But she's gone to more of like the universe, give things to the universe and stuff like that. More of an open spiritual thing than less focused on like a Christian mindset. So I think that's something to be aware of when you're listening to her music.
Okay, good input. Chloe?
I think honestly one of the biggest things about this topic, or really any other kind of music, is discernment. And I know we kind of talked about that a little bit on the Grow with Chloe episode a while ago when we talked about like what is worship. But even though I don't really listen to pop, I don't just listen to Christian music. Like I listen to some secular artists.
Wow.
But But
Zeke did
I'm
not
very
know his wife listened to secular music.
Oh no. I mean, mostly what I listen to is Christian or, but if it's just like a secular song, like I try to be very wise in like what I'm filling my mind with, because as a Christian, we don't want to put trash in our mind, because trash is going to come out if we do that. So I try to be careful with like cussing. Like I will not listen to a song if it does it more than a couple of times. Like that's ridiculous. Or if it's like completely blaspheming God, I won't listen to that. Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of just setting these ground rules. Because like when it comes to Taylor Swift, I think some of her lyrics are very openly like blasphemous. Like that song "Guilty as Sin." That song, I wouldn't listen to that ever. And if I was into pop, then I would probably listen to her more just like cleaner songs that aren't really about anything super religious, because like what I said, whatever you put in is going to come out. And so I don't want to listen to anything that's going to mess up my, or like, I don't know how to word it, but when it doesn't feel right in me, like I'm not going to listen to it, basically.
Makes sense. Mariah?
I feel like this has been a big topic, probably in the like Christian community too, with Taylor Swift, because she is marketed towards young women and like young girls, I'd say, or especially in her early days. So, but just like with anything, which you've probably seen online or maybe heard people say like, oh, well, I'll let my kids listen to Taylor Swift, but we do not listen to rap, or we do not listen to country, or other things, and it's like, like that's how kind of Chloe was saying. It's kind of like, I guess you could say the same thing, or it's just different. I don't know, just the way people accept it, I guess.
I think she's also been known in the past to be like, this very like pure and just like fun and like good artist. So a lot of moms may be thinking like, oh yeah, she's fine. Like she's fine for my daughter to listen to, because they know her older stuff. Yeah. And I think there was, I don't know for sure, but I think there was maybe one time like she did say like she was a Christian, nominal, but just because she says that, people would be like, oh, she's a Christian, like she's fine, I'll let my daughter like listen to whatever. But that's not always the case.
I gotcha.
So. Something I would like to get people's opinion on is there's a lot of talk about like people will go to her concerts and they straight up cannot remember any detail of the concert.
That's interesting. Tell me more. So people will go to her concert, they'll leave, and they don't remember anything?
They don't remember it. There are some people saying it is like related to demonic activity and stuff like that, and witchcraft. I can't tell you. I know that to me seems a little bit overboard, because there is such a thing as having adrenaline and being so excited that you can forget stuff like that. But I'm not going to close my mind to it entirely. It could be possible. I'm not going to deny that. But
so Blake, you had a interesting facial expression there when Justin said that. Any thoughts?
I always just use discernment on when I hear things like that. Some people want to take something that maybe one person said and then like explode it into something that it's actually not. Like I watched a video on this guy who said that do y'all remember the song Gangnam Style?
Yeah.
He said that song was Christ revealing himself and when he's going to return.
you and I were talking about that.
That makes
Whoa.
Yeah, you need to watch that. He goes through by lyric on how it's Christ revealing himself, when the Antichrist is going to come, how he's going to, like, all that.
I'll be too busy doing the dance move.
Exactly. We're under a hypnotic trance.
Yes.
It really shows in the lyric when he says, "Hey, sexy lady." That really reveals God right there.
I think that actually, if I remember correctly, he says that's the bride of Christ that he's talking about.
It's like
Anyways.
humongous jump.
That's terrible. Chloe, you.
Yeah, I was going to talk a little about the witchcraft thing too, because there's actually a YouTube video by Ruslan. He did a whole deep dive into that.
Ruslan, I love you.
Yeah, if you're listening, we love you. If you ever listen and find this podcast. But he did a deep dive into that. It's called like the Taylor amnesia. But Justin's right. Like there is a thing where you're so excited that your brain's just overwhelmed with excitement that you don't remember anything. But then there's other things that have happened. Like there was a TikTok that he put on the YouTube video where this ex-witch was talking about Taylor Swift concerts and showing some of the stuff she does. Like I don't know if y'all seen the music video. There's like demons walk like in the background and stuff, and at concerts she'll do the same kind of dance, and she says that's like a witch coven thing. And then there's like a video too where Taylor is like singing, and obviously this could be coincidence, but like she's singing about a plane coming down, and then you see the camera pan over and there's literally a plane like coming down. It looks like it comes into the stadium, and like just crazy things like that. But I don't think I would go as far as to say she's a witch. I think that's kind of extreme. Mm-hmm. I think she might call herself that. Like, there's a couple tweets she has where she's like, yeah, I'm a witch. Like, but I don't think she's taking it super seriously. She's like, oh, yeah, cute, like a witch, you know.
Interesting. Like,
I just feel like with a lot of these things, like I said, use discernment on it. Like, but I feel like a lot of the times, whatever, as a celebrity and as like a mega pop star as Taylor Swift is, how do you stay relevant? Well, you have to keep up with the times. It was, you know, she went from cute little Christian Taylor, you know, back in the early 2000s when that was like something like, you know, you could really jump to the charts with that. Now what's the new thing? Oh, spirituality, but not involving Christ.
Some people would say, Blake, to stay relevant, you have to sell your soul.
Some people do say that. I'm not saying it's possible, but
I think Jesus was offered that at one point.
he was.
Now something I want to tell you, Blake. I know you're a hardcore Swiftie. We are not belittling Miss Swift.
No, look, okay. Taylor, I will openly admit Taylor is a cringy person. Like you should see some of her dance moves.
I didn't know y'all were on like a first name basis.
Oh, Tay-Tay.
I'm just saying, she's not near as good as JoJo Siwa.
We'll have it. That's going to be for
that's
later
another
episode.
podcast
That's
episode.
later.
Another one. All right. So, quick question. I want to hear your opinion about this. Some people will say, all right, maybe there are some adult elements, maybe some spiritual elements to Taylor Swift I'm not comfortable with. She did mention casting spells. She made a comment about thanking her audience for, just her incredibly successful tour. She mentioned casting spells, which is interesting. But, okay, there are these elements that sexual, LGB, whatever, that we're not comfortable with. Fine. But it's okay to listen to Taylor Swift because it can be worse. You can listen to a up-and-coming young rapper named, don't listen to her music, it's trash, but Sexy Red.
Oh, dude.
Anyways, that's Blake's favorite artist right now, which is why he's laughing.
Don't be sexy.
Anyways, so okay, Taylor Swift is okay because there are worse alternatives out there. Maybe hardcore rap that gets really sexually explicit, etc. So we should be okay with Taylor because our young people are listening to her, and they could be listening to worse. What are thoughts about that kind of reasoning?
Well, that's just it's kind of like a cop out.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be like me saying like, oh, my sin's not as bad as the other sin, so it's okay. It's like, no, it's all wrong. But I know, and I'll say this too, like Taylor's new stuff is very adult. And I think that also, and I'm not trying to make an excuse, I'm just saying like it makes sense. She's getting older. She's going to write more. She's not young Taylor. It's just like with Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus wrote songs that were like for the Disney kids. Like it was Disney Channel, it was safe, you could listen to it in schools and stuff like that. And then Miley, she wanted to branch out and do her own thing. I think that's what Taylor's doing right now. She's just entering that world of her fans are grown up now. Does that make sense? So she's going to appeal to her grown up fans.
But at the same time, I don't think
it's not right.
I don't think she doesn't market it as if it's, this is, all my fans are older now, so therefore this is just for y'all. Like there's nothing in marketing that she does that, I could be wrong. As far as I know, there's nothing that she markets to just older people. Like her fan base is a wide range, right. And she knows that. Like she would have to be stupid not to. Like all the people who come to her concerts aren't people who have grown up and have a full-time job. Some of them, yeah, but I mean, like a lot of them are still young, high school, college, etc. So,
and we also have to think TikTok too. TikTok is really good at taking like blurbs of things. And people just making that facts. Like I can't tell you how many times I'll hear somebody say like they'll read one news article off of TikTok, and then all of a sudden they're an expert on it. Yeah. So it's like TikTok will do that. They'll take one blurb of what Taylor does, and it's like it's like this whole big story that it's not.
Yeah. I agree. Now, one point I want to ask a question from the other side. So we'll agree that the justification, well, Taylor's not as bad as other artists, not very persuasive. We probably shouldn't use that. But now I'm going to make the conservative argument for why you should listen and support Taylor Swift. This is what it is. In a world where people are not getting married, not wanting to get married, in a world where, just we're going in that direction, Taylor Swift is, she's talked about wanting one day to have a family. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. And that's a good thing.
Right.
So the conservative argument for listening and supporting Taylor Swift is she has some traditional elements to her, like marriage, like having a family, that's actually good. So compared to other people, let's take, again, the contrast here would be what you hear hip hop and rap. It's like having a bunch of kids with a bunch of different moms. Okay, well, we don't want to support that. Let's support this other artist that at least is trying one day to get married and maybe have kids. Thoughts on that? Is that persuasive to y'all or not really?
I mean, it kind of implies that there's no better, it implies that in the world that she's the best example we have for that. Yeah, I get it that she's a mega pop star and she's going to be the most relevant to the most people, but I think we have way more better examples that we should be looking to elevate those people more than trying to start with someone where she's at and try to bring back some of the bad things but promote some of the good things. I'd rather just start with someone who's already promoting all the good things.
Yeah. To me, it's just like what I always think is like just because she has a lot of influence doesn't mean she's a good influence. Yeah. So it's like to me that's a dumb argument. It's like just because she reaches a wide variety of people, if her material's not good, what's the point? If she's teaching young girls to already start looking into their sexuality and start discovering these things that are, meant for inside of a marriage, which is what a lot of her new lyrics on the Torture Poem album kind of talks about. It's like very graphic and sexual in nature. We shouldn't, I feel like as Christians, we shouldn't support that. Just because she reaches a large amount of people doesn't mean she's a good influence. She just is an influence.
I was just gonna say, so I was just thinking this thought during kind of both of y'all, which y'all were kind of saying, which is in our world today, no one that big, I mean, y'all could say, is gonna be Christian. In my opinion, just because it's not popular, it's not the thing now. If that makes sense, New Age is the thing, or not being anything and doing whatever you want is the thing. So I think
Are you trying to say like
it would be hard for us to have a Christian in the spot, like
let's
a
take
talented
what we
Christian?
can get, kind of like
No, like it would just be so difficult. I feel like
I know
to find a good
Yeah.
influence, to
She's-
find that.
What she's saying is like, you know how when Christ tells us to go into the world but not be a part of the world, it is hard to gain worldly wealth and fame and notoriety because as Christians we reject those things.
yeah, that's what I was.
So it would be insanely hard for a Christian to have the platform that Taylor Swift has without being corrupted by the world or having to give in some. I'm not saying it's not doable, because I think it is very doable, but how does that look? Because as Christians, we're supposed to be humble. When you have a platform like that, you're going to have to fight an ego battle that's out of this world.
I was just gonna say, when you said like not that it's not doable, I think definitely like if that is your path, like, you know, to be a musician and lead others in that way,
Right.
or you know, some sort of speaker, and it does gain tons of people, like Billy Graham, like most people, not even Christians, sometimes know him.
Yeah.
Just the name, yeah, is familiar. So I think like it is doable, like you said,
Yeah.
just not common at all.
I also feel like, too, it's like a double-edged sword whenever I think about it. And this is kind of off topic a little bit, but I was just thinking about it because I've thought about this a lot. You know, what my ministry wants to look like and what I want it to look like. At the same time, I want to reach a lot of people, but I don't want a lot of people to know me, if that makes sense. Because when you get to a certain level, it's just like with Billy Graham. People are like, look how brilliant Billy Graham is. And they forget that it needs to point back to Christ. They need to say, look what Christ did through Billy Graham.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a hard line to walk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about how, like, you brought up the point that it would be so hard for a Christian to, and to be fair, it'd be hard for anyone, but I think it'd be even harder for a Christian because you're actually actively trying to fight that battle of not letting it get to your ego. But I think it's kind of what's the word? I can't think of the word. It's not satisfying, but it's just kind of like, it's nice to know that, like, all these people, whether you was the Beatles, like Beatlemania, where everyone loved the Beatles and everyone was going crazy about the Beatles, so much so that they got a big enough head to say, we're more famous than Jesus. More people know about Jesus than even the Beatles. More people know about Jesus than even Taylor Swift.
Right.
And like, it's crazy how you can look at this guy lived over 2,000 years or close to 2,000 years ago, and he was in a nowhere place in a small town, and he didn't do any of this big famous stuff like Taylor did, yet he's made a bigger impact on the rest of the world for the past 2,000 or so years than any other pop star or celebrity can ever try and do. And I'm confident enough that no one else will ever meet his level of fame.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I guess I'll have a question after this because y'all have said certain things that will lead me to what's after Taylor Swift. Maybe some talented Christian artists who that we could listen to instead of Taylor Swift. We'll get to that. But I guess to sum up here, unless we have anything else we want to say, any other points we want to bring up, Zeke?
One other point, one of the lyrics from her songs we were looking at last night, is that the name of the song? Another song?
No.
Okay. I don't know the name of the song.
Yeah, I don't either.
But a verse came to mind when I was reading. I'll read out the lyrics. It says,
Oh, but Daddy, I Love Him. I know the song. It's actually a bop. I hate to
course.
be like that. It's a bop.
well,
We have uncovered
Thought you
a
were bringing this
Swiftie in
one.
our
Yeah,
midst.
but Daddy, I
yeah,
Love Him. It's a bop.
well, lyrics are not a bop. It says, God save the most judgmental creeps who say they want what's best for me, sanctimoniously performing
Soliloquies.
So, yeah, whatever that is, I'll never see, thinking it can change the beat of my heart when he touches me and counteract the chemistry and undo the destiny. You ain't got to pray for me and my wild boy and all this wild joy. If all you want is gray for me, then it's just white noise and it's just my choice. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but from the sound of it, it sounds like God, what she's saying is like God apparently saved all these judgmental people who say that all they want from me is mundane, boredom, blah, blah, but I really want to be with this guy, so why can't I just be with this guy and do for what I want? Y'all don't worry about me. Y'all don't pray for me. Y'all don't do any of these things. And something that I found interesting is that's something that's like really prevalent in culture is you have a lot of people who don't want to be Christians because of the example they've seen in Christian leaders. And I'm not agreeing with Taylor here in the sense of like that she should, her choices, but I think she's painting a bad picture against all Christians whenever she says like, oh, it's just the judgmental Christians or judgmental people which God conveniently saves. And it is sad that a lot of Christians are overly judgmental, at least in their actions. But even Jesus, and that's the sad part is that Jesus would agree with those same people who say they don't want to be Christian because of the example they've seen. Jesus literally agreed with them in Matthew 23. I think it's Matthew 23. Let me pull it up. Where he goes on and he's talking to about the Pharisees. And I think there's like 7 times where he says, "Woe, you Pharisees, you hypocrites." Yeah. But the interesting about that is he goes through all the different things they're doing wrong. They say that they care about the poor, but they mistreat them. They say that they care about God and his law, but they say and teach his law, but they don't follow his law. Mm-hmm. And so like Jesus would agree with all the people who say like it's not fair that Christians say that they're the most generous, but then they go and do these judgmental things. And the most interesting part about that is at the very start of Matthew 23, he says, listen to what they teach you and follow their teachings. The same people who are being hypocrites and are doing all these wrong things, listen to their teachings and do their teachings, but don't do what they do. So what he's saying is they can, even today, I think that's relevant today. We have pastors and preachers and church members who they know all the right things. They can teach the right things. They can say the right things. Even if they don't do it, we're still to follow their teachings as long as they relate back to the Bible.
Right.
And that's what it all comes back down to.
I think that's an important distinction to make. And Blake, did you want to add anything? If not, that's okay. One thing I'll summarize, because Zeke, you brought up something great, that even those judgmental people that Taylor Swift is calling out, what they might be saying is actually good. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a good thing to point out. Let's wrap this up. Blake?
Just to those lyrics alone, because I've listened to it, like I said, the song's kind of catchy, but it's just
of course.
It's more for like, to the way I look at it is more like shock value. I look at it as this is Taylor writing, and I'm not making an excuse or anything like that. I'm just saying like, it seems like Taylor is really reaching out to the young high school wild side. It's like, to me, it's like, why would I want to do what's right when doing this is so much more fun? I mean, it's kind of like, it's like she's trying to reach to like that part of us that we all used to live, like that young high school, like forget, like I'll do all that later. Let me just do what's fun now. Does that make sense? And so like, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but that's what I took from it.
I would say it's wrong.
I would say that's wrong.
My bad. I'm wrong, but like, that's what I took from it.
That's what she's going for.
Yeah, that's what she's going for.
Yeah. And I think there are things we need to be wary of in some of her songs, LGB type support and just promiscuity and other aspects of that just to be aware of. Now, to wrap this up on the Taylor Swift side of things, asking the question, should Christians listen to Taylor Swift? Yes, it's all okay. No, none of it's okay. Or some nuanced middle. You don't have to explain what your middle is, but just somewhere in the middle. Let's go around the table and ask, Zeke, yes, no, nuanced middle.
Sexy Red. We should listen to Sexy Red.
I'm probably going to stick with nuance. I'll actually give my explanation of, like, for example, maybe 5 to 10 years ago, there's a lot of artists that I used to listen to that, and I knew at the time of listening to them, I don't agree with their lyrics, and I don't agree with these things. That's why I want to lean more towards no. I'm not in the sense of like, if you come up to me and say, can you be a Christian and still listen to Taylor Swift? Of course, there's a lot of things you can do and still be a Christian, but is it wise? Is it beneficial? And if you're going to be on the iffy, I would say at least on the songs that blatantly disagree with our faith, I would say no, 100%. Yeah. On the other ones, I'm like, I'll leave it to your own discernment. But I have found over the years that at first I was like, all the Christian music is so cheesy and corny and dumb. That's what I used to think. And I was like, that's why I have to listen to more pop and stuff. And I've grown to love the Christian music more and more. One, it has gotten a lot better, for sure. True. Oh, but 100%. Two, I don't know. Lyrics, I'm a big on lyrics. Like we listen to some stuff that's just like poppy and fun sometimes, but lyrics, if I'm going to actually listen to a song, I like to have good lyrics and a good story or good meaning behind them. Yep. Maybe that's just personal preference.
To Christian music in one moment, because we're going to talk about that briefly. Chloe, yes, no, nuanced middle.
I'm gonna agree with Zeke on everything he said about
she's my
the
wife.
nuanced, yeah, the nuanced middle. But I do want to add one little thing. I think if you are a Christian and you do, use discernment to listen to Taylor Swift and you don't listen to the songs that openly blaspheme God and like Christian ideas, I don't think you should be the type of fan that idolizes her and talks about her music all the time, because if there's someone who's a non-Christian who's listening to you, then they're not going to have that same discernment, and they're just going to go listen to all of her music, and they're going to get their Christian ideas from those songs.
Yeah, to push, or not to push back, to add on to that is another thing that we're naturally going to do it. If you haven't realized it, just pay attention to what you talk about this week, and you'll notice you do it. The things that you consume, the things you listen to, the things that you do, you're naturally going to talk about. Yeah. Whether, no matter if it's Christian or non-Christian, you're naturally going to bring them up. For example, Chloe loves. Here's a good promotion for you. Said we're getting the Christian music. Forrest Frank. We can come back to that. She loves him, but she likes him so much, and she listens to him so much. And guess what? Naturally, she tells her friends about him.
And now my friend.
And now
is
she's got all her
listening
friends into him who makes good Christian music, etc.
Yeah.
But we can come back to that.
We'll come back to that. Blake, yes, it's all okay. No, none of it's okay. Nuanced middle.
Nuanced middle, just because of the fact of
Because he's a Swiftie.
no, there
Like you were sounding like a yes there. Like it's all okay.
no nuanced middle, just because there's Christian songs that we have to discern listening to, so it's just all discernment to me.
Justin, yes, no, nuanced middle.
I would say nuanced middle as well.
Isaac would say no.
Isaac would probably
Isaac also
say
doesn't
no.
want his kid to have Halloween, so that's going to be the most depressed kid ever.
Go back and listen to that episode.
Mariah, yes, no, nuanced middle.
I was gonna say I could be the one to say no, but I mean I totally listen to I listen to secular music too, so I'm like not that it. So I would say nuance middle for like to be short. Yeah,
I think that's where a lot of us fall. Now, briefly, we won't this because it could be its own episode.
Mm-hmm.
Briefly, parents out there might be like, well, what are some alternatives? What are some good, high-quality Christian alternatives if we're not going to listen as much or at all to Taylor Swift? So again, it's its own episode, so just quickly, what are some episodes, excuse me, what are some artists that you listen to in the Christian sphere?
Creed.
All right.
So like
Creed.
Creed.
we've already mentioned, but Forrest Frank is a really good, like he does Christian music with Christian values, but it's more on the like poppy hip hop sound of things. It's not really like contemporary Christian music. It's more of like fun, summery, like, but also really good words.
And he redid some hymns.
He redid
so you can
hymns.
listen to some old hymns.
Yeah,
Some more.
and he gets with some rappers and has some rap in some songs too, if you like that. But I also would recommend. What was that, Nate? I would also.
I'm communicating with Blake about the side.
I would
from the
also
side.
recommend some of my favorites are definitely Phil Wickham,
That's what I was
We
gonna
the
say.
Kingdom, For
Y'all
King
heard
and Country.
Josiah Queen.
Josiah
pretty
Queen is
new,
really good.
But he's good.
And then also like Andrew Tate is someone who's really good. Not Andrew Tate. Andrew Peterson, is that his name? That literally just slid right out of my mouth.
Chloe is unmasked.
So we know
She
she's
is
consuming
a
Andrew
red
Tate.
pill
Andrew Peterson.
bro.
I don't know why I said Tate.
The heart wants what the heart,
Heart wants what it wants.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so
okay.
Andrew Peterson. All right, Justin.
One thing to say is I typically don't listen to very poppy music, but Isaac is going to give me a high five for repping this dude. But if you're wanting something like that, Torrin Wells is a good one that's good to listen to.
Torrin
I
Wells.
think it's going to give you a high five.
He loves him, dude.
I
Really?
don't know if he's still
I
does.
thot he loved Brandon Lake.
Yeah,
Brandon Lake's
a
good.
good
He
I like
loves Brandon
That's
Lake.
why Blake has his hair like he does now.
Except for that song that he wrote, "Help." That song,
I haven't heard it.
garbage.
What?
man.
I don't think that's song.
I hate that
I
song.
don't think
so
it's
much.
that bad.
It's bad. But I just want to say, like, as a disclaimer, if parents are listening to this, you're just going to have a degree of patience. Because, like, even with myself, like, I used to love death metal. Like, I loved death metal. And I loved, like, the hard rock, like, and the lyrics are awful. Like, when you read the lyrics, they are, even though you can't understand anything that they're saying, the lyrics are atrocious. And so the problem is if you have a child or if you have a teen or whatever that's listened to this music for so long, it is just like breaking any habit. It is hard to get them to listen to something else because it's what they're used to. Their memories are built off of it. It's what is that word whenever something's familiar? Nostalgia. It is nostalgia.
Yeah.
And so you're just going to have to be patient and just keep introducing it, but I also don't think we should just
Don't force it.
Don't force it. Yeah, or else you're really going to push them away.
I think one thing, if I could give my mom advice going back, is growing up, the alternatives were either secular music or really old timey Christian music. And growing up, I heard those every Sunday to the point where I just kind of got tired of, and I didn't really care for it wasn't the lyrics or anything like that. It was just the very slow and stuff like that. And our generation were more upbeat and fast music. And I think that's something that I really want to pay attention to going forward with my kids, of trying to find, it doesn't have to be something I necessarily enjoy, but trying to find a good alternative that is similar to the type of music they like. Right. I think that would have been helpful for me, having that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, even with what Blake said, there are Christian metal bands.
They're so bad though.
Are they really? Okay, I don't
There are some alternative Christian things.
All screaming is the same.
Okay, my bad. There is some nuance. For me, I don't like it. So there might be people who find Christian metal bands satisfying, but I just think there are some.
But you're also a Swiftie, so we take everything you say with
I also sit in a camp where it's there are some things that shouldn't be made Christian, if that makes sense, just because of the realm that they're in. It's you just really shouldn't just infiltrate it.
Gangster rap.
Gangster dubstep would be one. Christian dubstep. Church clap makes me want to put my head through
Okay,
the
do not hate on some Lecrae and KB.
All of Blake's musical views.
I love Christian
No,
rap.
that's why I endorse Church clap.
Do not hate on Christian rap. Christian rap is the best.
You don't endorse it.
You said he's endorsing your views on music, is what he's saying.
But you said you endorse church clap.
Don't endorse Blake.
Don't just say you don't endorse.
I don't.
Say it right now.
I'm sorry. I do not endorse church clap.
Listen.
Church clap is dumb.
Sorry, it was played at our wedding.
You do what
I know, and I wanted to run away.
Justin, you do what Blake says, and you do it blindly. Okay.
Blindly.
Before Blake ever spoke a word about
Anyways, what song do we sing to close off?
Well,
Our songs,
Blake, you mentioned Creed. You want to hit us with some Creed?
Justin can.
He
sounds just like
hit
it.
us with some Creed. Send us home.
What song? What song?
That higher song that everybody knows.
What?
All right.
That's how he
Can
sings.
you take me higher?
Place
You gotta finish the line.
where blind men see.
Beautiful. All right, friends. Until next time.
That was perfect.
Hey, Blake, I got a song for you. Actually,
Is it church clap?
no. I think you would. I feel like you would like this song.
Is it Crank It Like a Chainsaw? That song
Thinks
sucks.
my
I didn't
tractor's
even- this-
sexy.
I don't know if you.
She thinks my
have you seen
tractor's
this
sexy.
song?